want to study in Australia. I don't know if I can get a scholarship. How much should I budget? That is the question that we are going to be answering in today's video. And by the end of the video, you are going to have a clear picture on how much you should budget as someone seeking to study in Australia. Of course, there are chances that you can get a scholarship, but this is just in case you do not get the scholarship. What should you be looking at? How should you plan? What money should you have in your bank account? Okay, so let's look at the bottom line here. What is the estimated annual investment? Give and take, you should be thinking about 50,000 Australian dollars annually. Okay, and this is actually the lane route. This is for those that want to go living in the regions, like you're not living in the city, you are living in the regions. 50,000 Australian dollars, and then you have 85,000 Australian dollars if you are going to be staying in the big cities, the metro area. Okay, so this is for 2026, self-funded. I think it doesn't really matter the year. I don't think things will switch up that much, but 2026 and above, this is what you should be looking at in terms of big picture. Now let us break it down to see, well, so what will be going into this amounts, like why this huge total. All right, let's look at. All right, you guys, I'm just going to take a minute to tell you all about my database. If you are someone thinking about studying abroad, the best place for resources is my database. I update it almost every day, so you're not going to miss any news in terms of studying abroad, scholarships, SOP samples, CV samples. Everything that you need in order to study abroad is in that database. Your job is just to get up every day, log in 1 or 2 hours, follow the samples, search for the scholarship, follow the samples, write your CV, follow the samples, write your SOP, follow the samples, write your research proposal, and apply. This is the exact formula that I use to get 4 fully funded scholarships, and if you follow it, I promise you, you are going to get your own scholarship. The link is in the description box, so please sign up for it. You have a university deposit, which may be between 10,000 to 22,000, and then you have the overseas health insurance, then you have the visa application, then you have the biometrics, and then you have the flight. So all of these things are like just starting off. Like, these are the things, that's why they said it's a launch part before the upfront cost before you fly, right? This is before you move to those countries. You have to figure all of this amount out, right? Then now let us look at the core expenses 2026, but it is not only 2026, it is like as an international student living in Australia. So for undergraduate bachelors, you are going to be spending about 20 to 45,000. This is for tuition, and then postgraduate you're spending about 22,000 to 50,000. And then doctorate you're spending about 20,000 to 42,000. The field of study differs. For example, there is a lower cost for people who are studying the humanities, education, art. You're going to be spending about 25,000, and then there is a high cost of those that are studying like medicine, veterinary science, and engineering. You're going to be spending about 55,000 to 90,000. Oh my goodness, I had never thought about, is this the general case? Like, degrees get cheaper or more expensive based off of what you are studying. Like, it is cheaper if you're studying the social sciences, and then more expensive if you're is this general knowledge? Because if it is general knowledge, I do not have this general knowledge. I do not know that information. I got a fully funded scholarship. I got 4 fully funded scholarships. I have never really understood payments as a student living abroad, which we can talk about it at some other time, and how much of a bubble you live in when you keep getting scholarships, and then you get out of school and you're like, oh my goodness, oh my god, they have to pay for this, they have to scholarships is actually a double-edged sword. It is nice, but it does not prepare you for the real world. Okay, my life after scholarship has been roller coaster, roller coaster, roller coaster. All right, let us look at strategic selection. So you look at the university tiers in order to determine affordability. For example, the affordability tier you're looking at is university like Torrance University, USQ, Sunshine Coast. You're going to be spending about 13,000 to 20,000. If you look at the mid-range universities, you're going to be spending about 25,000 to 38,000. This is Western Sydney University, Dakey, Newcastle, and then the group of 8, these are like the premium universities. You're going to be spending about 40,000 to 55,000. This is University of Sydney, University of Melbourne, University of New South Wales. The takeaway here is university selection is the biggest factor in your total budget. So what that tells you is that when you are picking a university, because this is like the most important or the biggest expense you are going to make, it is important to sort of pick universities that are not that expensive, right? Like that are not that expensive. Because if you're able to save up on tuition, then you are actually saving up on a huge part of what you have to spend, right? So visa compliance, here you need the proof of funds, and Australia is going to be asking you for about 29,000. In fact, this is 30,000 US Australian dollars. And what the idea here is for living cost, first year tuition, travel, and then this is the total of what is required. They are asking to see that you can have that amount, so at least take care of yourself in the first year. So this must be liquid cash or an approved loan. Oh my goodness. You cannot rely on future work earnings in order to meet these visa requirements. So know that you are going to be, the embassies are going to be wanting to see about 30,000 Australian dollars liquid cash or some approved loan that you can spend that money at least in the first year of your studies. Accommodation, you can either go with shared student accommodation or private rentals. Shared, you're going to be spending about 250 to 400 a week. Oh my goodness. And a student accommodation, you're going to spend about 400 to 650 a week. A week? Why is this a week? And a private rental, you're spending about 500 to 700 per week. Budget tip, rent will consume about 30 to 50% of your living budget. Moving 20 minutes from the city can save you about $100 per week. I know that this is Australian dollars, but I'm really surprised, students. If you study in Australia, let me know in the comment section. Do y'all pay rent per week? Is this a thing? I have never done it, so I have no knowledge of something like that. Daily expenses, what you're going to be spending, of course, total give and take, you'll be spending about $130. Weekly groceries, milk, eggs, chicken, eating out, phone, internet, utilities. And then if you're cooking in or if you're cooking out, that is going to affect your cost. If you're cooking in, you're going to be spending about $150 a week. If you're eating out, you're going to be spending about $350 a week. As an international student, I do not think eating out is a good idea, because at the end of the day, you're trying to save up as much as possible. You're still a student, you're still trying to figure life out. I think it is better for you to have some cooking skills and cook at home, right? Look, I had a scholarship, but I was cooking at home. Location strategy, the geographic price index. This is very, very important, because in choosing the universities, now it's like, where should I go to study and what can I spend in these locations? So you have the high cost in the red places, and then the green places are like a lot cheaper. So, and then of course the yellow places. So when you look here, you have Sydney is like red. Canberra is red. Melbourne, red. Adelaide, green. Perth, yellow. Hobart, green. Oh wow, Gold Coast, green. Brisbane, yellow. That is interesting. I think it is really this is normal in all parts of the world. If you live in the capital or in the big cities, you get to spend more compared to living in the regional areas. It's the same case in Tokyo. If you live in Tokyo versus Osaka versus Nagoya, you get to spend different amounts. It's just interesting how they put the colors to show which one you're going to spend the most. Transport concessions and community and commuting. Oh my goodness, I cannot read. So International students pay full adult fares, which cost about $50 a week. And then, oh, that's a new way. They have this transportation card, which students are eligible for, and it's about 50% concession, and it costs about $20 to $25 per week. So yes, you're spending for tuition, but there are other things, other costs, hidden costs that you have to think about. For example, textbooks, you have to spend on your textbooks. SSA fee, I'm not sure what that is, maybe related to studies. Dental care, in fact, health, they are putting here dental care, but health as a whole, like health insurance is something that you have to pay for. Oh, here they are talking about health security. They have the overseas health insurance and medical gap. So inside they have this public hospital visits, GP visits, emergency ambulance, dental, optical, physiotherapy. So it is mandatory that you pay about $600 to $1,000, and you have to pay this amount for your health insurance. That is very, very normal in several parts of the world. Health insurance is something that you must pay. Everybody pays health insurance. And then let's look at some kind of, can you make some money? I actually think you can. Income potential to order to offset. But remember, when you are budgeting to study abroad, this is money that you have to have before you fly to Australia. Yes, you can go there, start making or doing some part-time work, making money, but that is after you have gone. The goal of this video is really to talk about the money that you need before you go. All right, so yeah, you can work 48 hours per fortnight, and it can help you offset the living expenses. You can make about $24 per hour, so you'll be making about 500 to 600 per week, and annually you can be making about 20 to 25,000. But as I said already, that is really not the goal of the video. The goal is, what do you need prior to moving to Australia? Okay, so let's wrap this up by looking at the lean scenario, and then if you choose to go stay in the metropolitan areas. So scenario A, the lean regional budget, you could choose to stay in the regions. So this is you here smiling around, walking around Adelaide. Adelaide was one of the places that is cheaper, right? I think so. So oh yeah, you see the example here is Adelaide. So and then you choose shared housing, and then you choose the University of Torrance. I like how they've already given you an example here with everything broken down, and the picture looks like you're smiling and enjoying yourself. So let's look at the math. Tuition, you're going to be paying about 22,000, rent 13,000, living 10,000, transport 1,000, a buffer that you need 300, 3,800. The total 50,000 Australian dollars annually. The pros here, less stress. You have the regional visa points that you can actually use in order to get like permanent residence when you are done. So I think that this is a pretty decent deal. Now let's look at those that are big boys, big girls who want to be in the capital. So here we are looking at Sydney. You see the personal profile, the personal profile here, smiling, looking all decked up, happy to be in Sydney. So here, the housing that the student chooses is student accommodation. The student is studying at UNSW. Amen, amen. Okay. So the math here is tuition 48,000, rent 26,000, living 13,000, transport 2,600, buffer 5,000. The total is 94,000 Australian dollars. Oh my goodness. So where would you all want to go? Do you want to stay in the regions in Australia, or do you want to stay in the capital city? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful. Please do well to like the video, share with a friend, a brother, a sister, an auntie, an uncle, anyone that you think that this is going to help. And let me know in the comment section, was this helpful for you? Please, please, please let me know. And if there are any topics that you are interested in, you want me to capture, you want me to do a video on, let me know in the comment section. I am going to see you all in the next one. Peace.